Flucky, can you not? Please do that. Mommy is trying to film. I think my handsome wants to be in the video. Okay, maybe not. Are you camera shy? I love you so much. Just very stupid. Oh, my little boy. I'm a little boy. Alright, so. Today I'm going to be talking about how it is to be vegan and to work at a zoo. A subject I feel is quite contradictory, and I've had so many questions asked about it, so I want to answer them to you. I want to give you my opinion, my experiences, and my knowledge. So I hope you find this interesting. A little background information. I have been vegan now for 5 years, and I've been with the zoo for 8 years. I started volunteering as an assistant zookeeper since I was 16, and for the past 3 years, I've been working at the educational center as an educator, teaching kids about conservation, animal care, environmental issues, and other such things. So how does this work? How do the logistics to this work as being a vegan and working at a zoo? Because if you think about it, being a vegan supports animal liberation, it's against animal cruelty, animal captivity, using animals in any kind of form, whether it's diet, cosmetics, entertainment, anything. And then on the other hand, you have the zoo, which for many is an inherently cruel institution where they take wild animals and they cage them up and use them for profit and human entertainment. So how do those two tie together? First of all, let me say that the reason I decided to go vegan was because of my overwhelming love and passion for animals. And I think that's what got me working at the zoo. Because I love animals, I'm fascinated with wildlife, and I wanted to put that to practice. And I believe that since zoos do exist, it is critical for people that love animals to work there, to work with animals. I just want to state that in an ideal world, I would not want zoos to exist either. But unfortunately, we do not live in an ideal world. Far from it. Unsustainable farming, overfishing, poaching, illegal wildlife trade, habitat destruction, pollution, like the list goes on and on and on. And all of this, all these threats have made it so hard for wildlife species to survive. The truth is that today animals are vanishing at an extremely alarming rate of 1,000 times higher than before humans existed, which is crazy, mind-blowing to think of. There are 1,000 of species that have gone extinct, are endangered due to human activity, and whether people agree or not, whether people support zoos or not, the fact is that most zoos do play a critical role in conserving endangered species. Now, I say most zoos because I am aware that not all zoos are good zoos. I am aware that there are many that are in terrible condition, that treat their animals extremely poorly, that have them like objects and do not give them the proper care or the proper love or attention. And those zoos should not exist. And I believe it's those zoos that give a bad rep to all other zoos, because there's some really great establishments, ones that mimic animals' natural habitats as best as they can, that give them a high and proper diet, that provide them enrichment on the daily to keep their instincts alive and keep their enthusiasm alive, and that have people that truly love and care for animals, and that's why they work there. I believe that those are the zoos that are important, the zoos that promote wildlife conservation, that aim to educate people on wildlife and environmental issues, and that support wildlife research. Those are the zoos that I'm talking about. Those are the zoos I'm supporting and that I'm for. So I just wanted to make that clear because I don't want you guys to think I'm naive. I know not all zoos are like that. I know that a lot of them are terrible, and I do not support those. And I don't consider those zoos. I consider those prisons. But yeah, proper accredited zoos aim to promote wildlife conservation, educate people, and support wildlife research. And that's very important in keeping animals from becoming extinct, protecting their habitats, and in general, it's not only what we see in zoos, because there's a lot of work that goes on in the background and that goes on in the wild too as a result. Like the money raised by zoos, most of the ones which are accredited, as I said, a lot of their income goes to conservation efforts outside of the zoo. So, for example, one of the most popular things zoos do are breeding programs. And no, I'm not talking about like puppy mills where they just breed animals like crazy to get the purest and best genes and sell them off. No, I'm talking about breeding programs that help populations grow, help endangered species populations grow. So the most well-known example is for the oryx, which went extinct from nature. And it was because of zoos initiatives that created breeding programs were able to increase the numbers of white oryx they had at their zoos, and then were able to send them back into the wild to their natural habitat and start a wild population from that. So now we have white oryx in the wild again, which I think is amazing. And those efforts are trying to be done for many other species, like the Persian leopard, or rhinos and elephants, Bactrian camels, like all these animals that are critically endangered are being slowly are creating hope for the future, Because if you think about it, if we didn't have zoos, we would have to change completely our behavior. Most of the animals would already be extinct. That's the reality. And if they weren't now, in 10 years they would. That is so sad for me to think that my children, my grandchildren, might not have any wildlife to love. They might be born into a world that is stripped from that is naked from that rawness, from that wilderness. And I do truly believe that zoos do help endangered species, and that they ensure to some degree that that will not be our future, that future generations will not have to grow up without knowing certain species. I don't know, maybe I'm just being hopeful, maybe I'm just being optimistic, but that is my opinion. That is why, as a vegan, I work at the zoo. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some more information. One thing I do want to say is that if you do visit zoos and support them economically, do some research ahead of time before you visit them to make sure that they are a good zoo, to make sure that they support conservation, that they conduct wildlife research, and that they aim to educate people. I hope that makes sense. I hope you find it helpful. Please comment below if you have any questions, or share with me your opinion if you want to. I just want to say I do not want any negativity or aggression on my channel. I am more than welcome to hear opposing opinions. I'm not against that. Let's get into a deep discussion. Educate me. Let me educate you. I'm all about that. I just don't want people spreading hate on my channel. I think most people would agree with that. So yeah, please comment below if you want to share your opinion with me. If you have any questions that I didn't answer, I didn't talk about. And I hope you enjoyed it. See you at my next video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you.